From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, son.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Happy holidays from Weather NorCal and our sponsors. Have a wonderful holiday season.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Kruger. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and now here we are, the day after Thanksgiving. Everyone always calls it the busiest shopping day of the year. I don't know how much truth there is to that anymore. It seems like with all the Cyber Mondays and it seems like the Black Fridays always start early, but, who knows? It'll be interesting to see what goes on out there today. But anyway, hope you have a happy and safe day. Let's get you right to Kruger's Quickcast, though. This is just a quick look at the forecast so you can go out through the day and know what to expect. And then, of course, we're going to a deeper dive, although there's not much to really dive into deeply here at the forecast here, as we don't have much change. But this is the freezing fog advisory we need to tell you about this morning for last in eastern Plumas County. Visibility could get down to less than a quarter of a mile. That's the first issue. The other issue is the fact that temperatures are below freezing here. So when you have those little tiny water droplets in the fog, that can freeze on the surface, so on the ground, on the roads. So just please take it easy out there. You can get a lot of those unexpected slick spots. It may look wet, but it could be that black ice. Out the door this morning, let's take a look. There could be some of that patchy fog. Otherwise, it's just another cold start to the day. Temperatures 20s in the higher elevations and in the 30s for the valley. There you can see the satellite image. A couple of things to take note. You may notice here we do have some clouds and an area of low pressure here spinning. This won't have too much impact on us because it is undercutting the main ridge of high pressure. So a lot of these clouds that are inching our way, you see what's happening? You see how they're kind of being forced and kind of flattening out right here, and then they kind of get forced off to the east. That's because we have a ridge of high pressure in place. That ridge is preventing those clouds, a lot of those clouds, from moving on in. In the meantime, we've got a series of storms over the Gulf of Alaska, over the western Pacific that are heading our way, but thanks to that ridge of high pressure, we're not going to see any of that rain anytime soon. Temperatures today, absolutely gorgeous in the low 60s for most of us in the valley. We've got those 30s and 40s for the higher elevations. And they're those mid to upper 50s for places along the coast. Inland areas, temperatures probably somewhere in the low to mid 60s. All right, so let's take a look at that 7-day outlook. I mean, take a look. Basically, low 60s through the weekend, mid 60s by next week. It's going to be gorgeous, temperature-wise. We could use the rain, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. The coast, inland, and for Trinity County, everyone is seeing these warmer temperatures as we take it through next week. That's also the case for Siskiyou County, Modoc County, and even out towards Susanville eventually. It's only been looking at the 40s, but by the middle to latter part of next week, maybe some low 50s in there. That is your Quickcast. All right, so let's get into a deeper dive. And for those of you that may be watching from somewhere other than home, which is here in Northern California, you might be wondering what the weather's like here back home. Well, and you also might be wondering what it's going to like for your travels. All right, so if you're in Southern California, do know that there still is another dense fog advisory out there this morning from Merced down to Bakersfield. That's until about noon today. That fog may take a little bit of a while to burn off here, but there you can see your travel forecast. So for your Friday, if you're up north, temperatures are still going to be on the cool side. We're really not going to see much change in those overall temperatures. You can see they are kind of creeping upward a little bit here. That's the overall trend, not only for Northern California, but really the western United States in general. Still some low clouds and some fog out there, especially for the southern San Joaquin Valley. But look at Palm Springs, getting close to 80 degrees. In fact, should be up to about 80 degrees by Sunday. Maybe some of you are heading back home on Sunday. Looks like you have some pretty good weather in store for you. Meanwhile, we take a look at the airport delays, at least this morning, as of around just before 6 o'clock this morning. You can see there are no delays. Some snow off to the east and some thunderstorms out towards the south and east that may have a minor impact on some of that travel. In fact, there's the winter storm travel impacts. We do have that lake effect snow off to the north and east. Otherwise, Otherwise, for tomorrow, and the next couple of days, it's very limited when we're talking about those winter storm impacts. All right, let's get you back home. Let's take a look at the forecast here. We do have areas of fog, cold and frosty the next few mornings, including this morning, mainly sunny and seasonal the next 7 to 10 days. No rain in sight. I'm just not seeing it. And, hopefully we start seeing some changes here as we start going into the next few days and we start getting more rain in the long range. But until then, it looks dry at least through next week, if not longer. This again, remember I was talking about, this is an area of low pressure, that what I call undercutting the ridge of high pressure. What that means is high pressure, you've got the right here, okay? Typically with the ridges of high pressure, you have sunny skies and warm conditions. Sometimes you can get these storms that can undercut that ridge, and that's why we're seeing those clouds over Southern California. It's not really producing much in the way of rain though. But what happens is that those clouds kind of work their way northward. They can't. They're hitting that ridge of high pressure. As a result, we see the clouds dissipate. So think about this. The air is rising with an area of low pressure. That's what helps produce the clouds. The air is sinking. That doesn't support cloud development. So this kind of busts up against that sinking air, and that's why those clouds are clearing out. Meanwhile, we've got this area of low pressure right here. There's another one behind that and another one behind that. All these storm systems are barreling toward Northern California, but they're not coming anywhere near us. Let's take a look at this. All right, so here you can see that ridge of high pressure. There's that low pressure system, by the way. But this ridge just holds on. So you see what happens with all these storms? See that low pressure here, another one coming in behind that? All of that energy, as you can clearly see, just riding up and over that ridge. Now, every once in a while, we get what's called a dirty ridge of high pressure. Remember I was talking about typically have sunny skies, warm temperatures with high pressure? Well, sometimes some of these clouds can really sustain themselves and we see them move through. But none of those clouds are going to bring us any rainfall. All right, so here's your precipitation outlook. Yeah, drier than normal. Looks like a little bit more wet weather, though, up to the north here in the long range. And temperature-wise, it's going to be above normal, too. But we're not talking 10, 15 degrees above normal. We're talking about 5, 6, 7 degrees above normal for this time of the year. So low 60s through the weekend, mid 60s. I mean, look at that. It just levels out between 64 and 65 degrees through next week and into that next weekend. So not much change here. There you can see your wave heights for your Friday. There's a look at your wave heights for your Saturday. We are starting to see them increase a little bit here from the west. Now, one thing you need to mention here is there's a beach hazard statement. This is for the coast. This is for people that spend time, that plan on spending time on the beaches. If you're from the area, you know what a sneaker wave is. But just to kind of give you a quick, brief summary of what one is, it's basically an unexpected rush of water that comes up from the coast. So you're hanging out on the beach. Next thing you know, there's a big rush of water that comes in unexpectedly. You don't see it coming, and it can sweep you from under your feet because it's a lot of water. So if you're rock hopping, that can get dangerous. If you're just on the beach in general, so just never turn your back to the beach ever, really, but especially during this beach hazard statement. By the way, that's for tomorrow evening. And then, of course, that continues into Monday, as a matter of fact. Northeast winds at about 5 to 10 knots. Waves from the north at 3 feet and from the west at 2 feet. But also, you can see no advisories are in the forecast. Here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures just kind of hovering around that 60-degree mark. Some of the cooler spots, mainly in the low to mid upper 50s. A little bit warmer for some of those warmer spots. 57 out towards Blue Lake, 62 degrees for Garberville and Alder Point, and 54 degrees in Rio Dell. 61 degrees for a high today in Orleans, 62 in Hoopa, a bit warmer in Willow Creek at 64. 59 for Smith River and Gas Key, about 63. We take you out to Siskiyou County, where we've got temperatures 30s, 40s, even around 50 out towards Happy Camp. But it's going to be a chilly day out there today. I mean, Mount Shasta, you may struggle to even get into the 40s today. 34 degrees out towards Tule Lake, 42 for El Turris and Cedarville, about 41 degrees. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, it's cold up in Westwood at a high of only 37, 47 though in Chester, 49 in Greenville. And there you can see Kronberg, about 51 degrees. Here's your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by our friends at Walgamith Painting. We've got those temperatures mainly around 60 degrees, a little bit warmer out towards Reading with about 62, 59 for Lakehead, and 59 degrees for Whiskeytown. All right, let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for Reading. Temperatures low 60s, at least through the weekend. It's warming up, though. By the time we get into Monday, we're in the mid-60s, and we keep it that way through next week. That's your morning update. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll be back again this afternoon with your latest forecast. Have a great morning.
Caltrans is doing the best that they can with the amount of people and the amount of equipment they have, and they're out there trying to keep the roads safe and trying to keep everybody running, because if the roads shut down, truck drivers that are paid by the miles aren't making any money. So we want everybody to put chains on for the safety of themselves and the safety of the public. It's not worth it to drive without chains.